All right, Spanx here. Today we're going to be talking about Bryan Reynolds, and he signed a 8-year, $106 million contract extension with the Pirates last week. It's a bit of a crazy situation for a long time. It looked like in the offseason he had asked for that trade request, and the Pirates didn't agree to basically deal him. He's a valuable player. They decided to hang on, and their patience pays off as they've locked him up for a pretty reasonable contract here. Today, we're just going to be looking into Bryan Reynolds as a player and just what he is. We're going to look at the Pirates and their long-term situation. And yeah, we're just going to look at what went wrong for Reynolds last year and how he's changed it so far this season. So yeah, Reynolds, 28-year-old outfielder from Baltimore, Maryland. He went to Vanderbilt and was drafted actually by the Giants originally back in 2016. So he made his debut at the age of 24, a bit of an older rookie, but has been a really productive player ever since he came in the league. Let's look at some kind of standard numbers here. His big season was 2021. He actually finished 11th in the MVP voting. I believe his WAR was 5.9. Yeah, you can see that right here. That's elite level. That's high all-star level there. 24 homers, 90 RBIs. He's not a big runner. He's more of an average power type of player. Plays center field. And yeah, he's been a big part of the Pirates' early success here in 2023. If we look at the Pirates as a whole right now, they don't have a ton of money on the books going forward. They signed Bryan Hayes to that extension a few years ago, and we'll kind of see how that one looks long term. He still kind of hasn't picked it up. We've expected Hayes to take that next step at some point and bring his offense back to what he was doing in the minors a little bit, but to this point that hasn't happened. But beyond him, Reynolds is the only committed money on the books. This contract, if they exercise the team option in 31, that'll take him through his 36 age season, I believe. So, yeah, it's a long-term piece for them, and he's right in the heart of their lineup there. And so this is a really important guy for them to lock up as they're taking that next step. They're a really young team right now. They got a lot of young players that haven't even made their debuts yet. We think of Henry Davis. They got Oniel Cruz, who's up now, Jaiwan Bay, Ronzi Contreras, Jack Sawinski. A lot of young guys are really starting to make their way up. Rodolfo Castro is another one right there. So it's really yet to be seen if what the Pirates are doing so far this year is a bit of a flash in the pan. I certainly believe it is, but I think long term they're looking good. I think they could be a playoff team in a few years. And who knows? You never know. Maybe they could really sneak in there this year. If we look at the StatCast numbers for Reynolds, we're looking at 23 here, and he's just off to an absolute tear so far to start the season. But I think it's really worthwhile to go back and look at 2021. So this was his elite year. You can see really good numbers across the board. High walk rate, high K rate. That's always a combination for success. It's high sprint speed, even though he doesn't run that much on the base paths. And just an all-around great year, all-star level outfielder. But then 2022, it was a completely different story. His walk rate dropped and his K rate went up, and he started whiffing a lot more. And he actually lost a lot of speed in the outfield there as well. He did not play at the level that he did in 2021. Go back to his outfield jump. It wasn't elite at any point, but he really fell off the table with outfield. And we'll look at fielding stats a little bit as well, because that certainly plays a factor here as he is a center fielder, and I personally don't believe he's going to stick there long term. So when we look at Reynolds in 21 and 22, we can kind of compare what's gone right and what's gone wrong. His average, obviously, when he's at his best, he's a high average player. He hits around 300. But I think the thing I really want to look at here is his K rate between 22 and 21. That really spiked up. That was actually a result of his chase rate increasing. So let's just scroll down a little bit here and we'll find that right about here. He's 24.8% in 21, all the way up to 22%, or 31.5%, sorry, in 22. So his chase rate really went up, and what was happening is pitchers were attacking him up in the zone with fastballs. And yeah, he's a player that when he gets the fastball in the zone, he can get under it. He's got a great launch angle, and he can really send it out. But what he was doing a lot last year was he was chasing those pitches way up in the zone. So if we kind of look here, this is 2021. We look at fastballs above the zone. These are four-seam fastballs that we got on here. He only had 9 swings 8 swings, 4 swings in these 3 zones throughout the entire year of 2021. When we look at 22, the number goes way up. So we're looking at 22 swings here, 37 there, 22, 3 there, 12 there, 11 there. So he's really swinging a lot more. And as you can see, he had a decent average against these areas, but these areas he was really cold and he was chasing a lot outside of the zone here. So what we are looking for in 2023 is for Reynolds to dial it back a little bit, be a little bit more patient, and to bring it back into the zone a little bit. And I think, like, as we look at the numbers so far this year, he's doing that. I think a big part of that is he's got a lot more help in that lineup now. He was maybe trying to do it all himself a little bit last year and kind of expanding a little bit, stretching a little bit. But so far this year, he's reeled it back in a lot, and he's got some better bats around him in the lineup. Even guys like McCutchen and Carlos Santana, some older guys, but players like Rodolfo Castro, Jack Sawinski, really starting to pick it up for him and providing that protection in the lineup. If we look at the fielding numbers here, he hasn't ever been an elite fielder, and I'm not one to claim that I know what I'm really talking about too much when I look at these fielding metrics, but a -7 outs above average, and in 2021, he was an 11. So that's close to a gold glove level there in 2021. He just fell off a complete cliff in 22. And it hasn't gotten like much better here in 23. So when we're looking long-term, I do believe he's a long-term outfielder for the Pirates, but I don't think he's going to stick in center field. So we'll see over the next couple of years if he makes that move to left or right field. I'm going to say it's likely he goes to right. He's got a strong arm, as you can see here, strong arm strength. So you usually have a player in right field with stronger arm strength as they have to make that throw to third. So it's likely he moves out there in the next couple of years, especially as he gets into his 30s. But for now, he's just going to stick in center field for the Pirates. So yeah, that basically does it for us today for Bryan Reynolds. I really like the deal for the Pirates, locking up another player for them. They're really starting to build out that core. They're a really fun team to watch if you haven't watched them yet this year. And yeah, we're going to look back on this one in a few years, see how it ages. But 15 mil a year on average, it's really not an albatross contract. Like, I don't see many ways where this can go extremely wrong for the Pirates. This guy's a really good hitter. So yeah, good for Bryan Reynolds getting his money, and good for the Pirates extending their guy. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. We're going to do some player breakdowns as the week goes on here. So tune in, and yeah, I'll be in touch. Thanks.